Good morning. Today is April 4th. Is that right? And it's 10:30 in the morning. We're in the council chambers in the city of Urbana. And this is a vehicle impoundment administrative hearing. And today we are, this is Mr. Jason Pete, who is the person who's appealing the impoundment. And my name's Carol Mitten. I am the city administrator, and this morning I'm acting as the hearing officer, and we're joined by City Attorney Matt Reshley. We're joined by the officer who cited the car multiple times, Sarah Links, and a staff member from Finance, Darren Taylor, the executive coordinator from the executive department, Kate Levy, and the assistant to the city administrator, Will Kolchowski. And this is relatively informal, even though we're creating a record, and this is this is available to people to watch if they want to. But as we go through, Mr. Pete, if you have any questions as we go, you just feel free to interject, and we'll try to handle those things as they come up. And so, also, if someone were to come and want to speak on your behalf, as we go.
Carol, your mic is muted. You can borrow mine.
Okay, I don't know where you lost me, but anyway, we don't have any formal rules of evidence, so we'll just make our way through as we go. So what I'd like to start with first is, Mr. Pete, give you the opportunity to just explain what happened from your perspective, and I have the paperwork that's been generated. I have your appeal form, but then I also have the notice of infraction that was issued and the tow report, as well as the times that your car was reported to be parked in the public right-of-way, but undrivable. So why don't you go ahead and from your perspective, just walk through what happened and your position.
I woke up.
Could you just pull it?
Can you hear
You
me?
can pull it closer. Oh, I'm sorry.
When I woke up and looked out the window, my car was gone. It was.
Can we just maybe talk about what day that was?
I noticed that the 7th of March. And prior to that, I was fixing the right front tire, which was flat. There was a slow leak in the left, but it wasn't abandoned. And I think it was there only like 2 or 3 days to get it fixed.
Was the car drivable in the
Yes.
condition that it was in?
No, not on a flat tire, but it was drivable.
But not on. But it needed the tire to be
The
fixed.
tire to be changed. Yes.
Okay. And do you remember when you parked the car there?
Me and my friend used it the 5th morning. It was when it was the morning of the 5th. And we parked there because we couldn't get it to go into the back where it should be parked. But it also says, no, there's a sign saying that you can't have work on cars behind the apartment complex where I should have been parked. But I made sure that it was parked on the street where it was not in an infraction, in a zone where it can't be.
Okay. So now we're just going to shift for a second to, and I did want to ask you one other thing. Do you own this car?
I own it, yes.
Is it registered to you?
It should be now, yes.
Oh, is that something that's changed since?
Yeah, I got it from my daughter, but I wanted to work on it and fix it first, so.
Okay, so the tow report shows that the owner is Willie Dorsey?
Yeah, I bought it from him.
Okay.
There's a bill of sale. You guys didn't get a copy?
No. but we might, if that becomes relevant, we might take a copy of
Yes,
that,
ma'am.
if you don't mind, before we're done. Okay, so now I'm going to turn to Officer Links and ask her, she visited the property multiple times, and so she's going to give us her perspective. Maybe you could grab that mic. And you kind of got to lean in once you turn it on.
Just push this.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact first day. It was maybe Monday. We got called out there from a citizen. I don't recall off the call log. Is that the? Okay, this looks like the third. I know Sergeant Hukin and I were called out there. A citizen reported that the car had, it was a check welfare because the tire was flat. They said there was beer cans around it, was just kind of concerned about it, and there was nobody around it. Sergeant Hukin and I went out, had a flat tire. There was like a beer can in one yard and a beer can in another yard, so we didn't think those were relevant to the car. Ran the license plate and came back to an individual out of Champaign. At that time, I used my discretion to not ticket it, but make note of it, because if it's somebody just trying to fix their tire, the last thing they need is a parking ticket on top of just trying to get your tire fixed. Just for point of reference, we have a lot of police contact in that area down there with shootings, just individuals who bring their property, leave their property. We've got buildings that are being condemned, being fixed. So I made note of this car to myself so that I could actually, have a point of reference. Looked like maybe on the 6th. I know that there was another call out there. I don't know the result of that. I don't know if anybody ticketed it or anything like that. When I returned to work on Friday, made a note, went by, the car had not moved. Tires were still flat.
And Friday would be, is that the 7th?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I made note of it. I actually contacted Sergeant Hukin at that point. I just said, hey, I'm going to go ahead and tow this vehicle because it's obviously not moving. We've had people call on it. It's in an area where we have high police activity. The last thing I need is somebody's car getting their windows broken out, things like that. So due to the fact that I towed it, I also issued the citation for it being inoperable because it had not moved. The city ordinance says 72 hours. I gave it over a week, and at that point, I made the determination to tow the vehicle.
Okay. Thank you. So now I'm going to turn back to you, Mr. Pete. And so Officer Links has spoken about the fact that she came out and on the 3rd initially and observed the vehicle as with a flat tire and parked in the location that she found it again on the 7th. And so I'm just wondering if you have any response to that.
Just that I've been out there several times to change the tire. One tire was not, it wouldn't work. So I had to get another one, and the back and forth. Whoever called knew that I was out there, working on the car. And I do reside within a decent amount of feet for it to be there. It wasn't just like I parked it across town. I parked it in front of my residence. Maybe the registration hadn't gotten there yet, or my address isn't on it yet, but I was out there every day working on the car.
Okay, but do you dispute in any way that the car was parked there starting on March 3rd?
I mean, I parked there often. It could have been parked there, but it wasn't abandoned. It wasn't flat then. Couldn't have been.
So Officer Links observed on March 3rd that the car had a flat tire.
I know the officer that told me that they had it towed came over for another call at the building, and when I asked him about it, he told me that someone called and had it towed.
Okay. So since the car was towed, am I correct that you paid the citation?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and so can you just elaborate a little bit on if you paid the citation, which was based on the car being abandoned for more than 72 hours?
It abandoned. I wouldn't be here now if it was abandoned. That's the what I don't understand. I'm not abandoning the vehicle. It seems vindictive of someone calling in saying that it's there, and you can look at it and tell that it's not abandoned. I appreciate Urbana Police for protecting it, but there's no signs of abandonment on that vehicle.
Okay.
Besides the tires. You know.
Let me use different words because the citation actually allows two words to be used. One is abandoned, one's inoperable due to flat tires.
Okay.
So let's put abandoned to the side. The citation there at code 40. So you paid the citation based on inoperable due to flat tires and had not moved in over 70.
It hadn't moved in a certain amount of feet, but it did move because when I first tried to change the tire, the tire fell. The jack fell forward.
Oh, okay.
So it did move a little bit.
But in terms of being in a different location, it wasn't in a substantially different location.
No, and another reason why it wasn't in my parking spot back there is because there's some other abandoned cars back there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, which are abandoned, that's been sitting there. Just that.
It's different for private property than it is for public property.
Right. And I guess the street's public, but it's just that I was there at that car a lot. And I mean, they probably don't know, we don't know who called it in, but it seems like to me, since that car's moved out of that spot, it's been another vehicle there and somebody wanted the spot, is what it seems like. That's just that particular parking spot.
Yeah, I can't speak to that. But you did pay the citation, and payment is admission that the citation is correct. That it was towed because it hadn't been moved in 72 hours, more than 72 hours, and it was inoperable because of flat tires. Is that right?
No, it's been moved since.
No, but that you paid the citation that was based on that assertion.
Well, I tried to just pay and get everything back so we wouldn't have to be here now.
So, but we are here now because you appealed the impoundment part of it, right?
Yes.
So the impoundment was based on the same basic reason that the citation was based on. So I'm looking for why you feel that it was towed improperly.
Because there's vehicles that's still in the same spot out there right now that's been on.
Public right-of-way?
That's flat, and they've been there longer.
In the public right-of-way?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's something else that we're going to have to deal with. But unless you can provide some more concrete evidence as to why the impoundment was not proper for your car.
I don't think it was the third. I don't think it was that amount of time.
Even though we have a police officer.
Even though you have a police officer.
There's a call.
Police makes mistakes.
Well, there's a call sheet that was also noted on the call sheet that was generated at the time.
So what's
On March 3rd, that said there was a call, there was a car, it was in that location.
It wasn't flat on the third, because we used the car after that.
Okay, well.
So I think maybe that call was the vindictive part of it. And then when I brought it back there, because I said I had been parking there, that's when, to her record, yeah, it would be abandoned. I got a call on the third, and then now she sees it then. I understand that, but that's not accurate.
Okay. I just want to make sure that Officer Links puts this on the record again, just to make it clear. When you saw the car on March 3rd, did it have a flat tire?
Yes, when I saw it on March 3rd, it had a flat tire. It looks like another officer went out on the 6th. It had a flat tire. When I went back out on the 7th, it had a flat tire. And I think another one of the tires looked like it was low. So at that point, I believed that the car was not going to be moved since it's parked down the block from Mr. Pete's address. I didn't associate it with his building. because I'm familiar with his building. I'm down that street more than enough times in a shift. So in not registering back to anybody on that street, I believed that it had been abandoned on the city of Urbana.
Okay. I think what Mr. Pete was showing me a minute ago was that he's got a bill of sale from January, is that right?
Yes.
So how long does it usually take if someone transfers ownership to hit the motor vehicle records?
It's kind of up to the Secretary of State, but it's a pretty quick turnaround because they can get it in the computer system, and then the computer system will come directly to my car. So, I mean, maybe a week, maybe a little bit more, but it's just.
Not to cut you off, been having troubles getting a hold of Mr. Dorsey too since I bought the vehicle.
So have you put the registration of the vehicle in your name?
Yes, it's in my name now.
And can you tell us when you did that?
I think it was February sometime, if I'm not mistaken. It might have even been January. Yeah, I think it was January 15th.
Do you have like the title by chance?
No, I don't have it with me. That's why I was looking for Mr. Dorsey, because he needs to give me a copy of it, the actual title.
Can you register a car without the title?
I can put in for a lost title if he doesn't hurry up, and if I can't find him, I'm going to have to.
Okay, so I'm just now trying to trace what could have happened about why if Officer Links looked in the system that it wouldn't show that it was registered to you, but now I'm hearing that you don't have the title and.
That's why, because I think she would have. She knows me personally. I think she would have told me to move my car.
Well, yeah, and that's part of, I mean, that's part of this is, but anybody can answer, can one register a vehicle into their name without having the title in hand? Anybody know the answer to that?
All I know is that you have to put in for a lost title.
I don't believe it can be if you don't have something.
Okay, so you may have attempted to register it in your name, but you know it's not yet because
I know now it's not.
I
If
see.
It's not,
Okay.
Now I just learned that, but
okay.
Without him or that title, I know I have to put in for a lost title and get it in my name, and that's I think a 30-day process.
Okay, and you said you had tried. You thought maybe you tried the same day that you bought the car to register the car.
When I called the number back, his number, I couldn't get a hold of him, and the only option that I couldn't find him. I still haven't gotten a hold of him. He's gotten the money and signed, and I still can't get a hold of him. I feel like that's when I decided a couple weeks ago I was going to go ahead and put in a lost title and pay for it myself. So without him, it's kind of hard to furnish the title. But I never got a title for it when I bought it.
Okay. Well, is there anything else you'd like to say that that is germane to the impoundment?
I thought maybe, I know it's insured. I insure it. And I scheduled a roadside. I don't know why that wasn't there. It's between my insurance company. But yeah, other than that, I'm not abandoning the vehicle. And I think it should be a little more time before they had towed it. I think her call was vindictive, and I think I should have my vehicle back, put back.
I can't speak to the motivation of the person that called. I can't speak to that. So,
if I could have like a do-over, I wouldn't park there.
Yeah.
You know.
So one thing I would like to explore before we finish is I'm wondering why you haven't retrieved the car.
Do you know how much it is at the tow?
I know that it's
That's
a
why
lot of
I
money if you do it timely and it
And
just
timely
gets,
or what? I didn't have the money in the amount of time. I haven't had that money yet all month, and now it's probably at like $1,500. It's outrageous.
so what, you are not required to have paid any fines or paid the impoundment in order to appeal, as you probably know. But you are responsible for whatever, if this hearing doesn't go in your favor, then you are responsible for those charges, and they just increase by the day.
I understand that. I've talked to Dons and let them know that this was the situation. So hopefully, this goes in my favor, because it's not his business's fault.
Yeah, I do understand that. So I'm going to leave a little bit of time. Maybe I won't make a decision until a week from now, and I'm going to give you a chance to provide any additional materials that you want. Like if you had, I would like to get a copy of that. We can make a copy before you leave to make it easier. But anything else about the registration that you can share, I'll do a little bit of follow-up about just what the options are around the registration and so forth.
Yes, ma'am.
But you know, to be fair, and this administrative hearing is on the rules around the impoundment. It's not on the motivations of your neighbors or anything. So I have to be candid with you, which is on the merits of it, based on the facts of it. You know, there was documentation on the 3rd of March, which is more than 72 hours prior to the car being towed, that the car was in the spot from which it was towed and that it was inoperable due to a flat tire. And so based on our ordinance, that impoundment was proper. And that's where I am right now, but I'm going to consider whether there's anything mitigating before I make a final decision, and I will do that in writing, and it will send that to you by certified letter.
Okay. That's all I can do, I guess.
Yeah, and if there's any, like I said, if we could take a copy of this, and then if there's anything else you want to provide, you have until next Friday to get it to me, and we'll do a little bit of research on our own. Okay? Yes, yeah, we will. Okay, and is there anybody here who'd like to say anything before we conclude? Well, there's somebody behind.
Yeah, the person who was driving the car at the time.
Oh, I see. Okay, all right. Well, if you wanted to give me a statement from that person, that would be fine too. Okay. All right. I'm going to declare this hearing concluded. Thank you.